Once upon a time, there was a young man named Jake who had just finished his undergraduate degree in business and was ready to embark on his career. He had big dreams of becoming a successful entrepreneur and building a business empire, but his plans were quickly derailed when he experienced a devastating heartbreak. Jake had been in a serious relationship with his girlfriend, Emily, for several years. They had been together since high school and had always talked about getting married and starting a family. But one day, out of the blue, Emily broke up with Jake and left him heartbroken. Jake was devastated. He had never experienced such a profound sense of loss and pain. For months, he wallowed in self-pity, drowning his sorrows in alcohol and feeling sorry for himself. But then, one day, something inside him snapped. He realized that he couldn't go on like this forever, and he decided to take action. Jake decided to throw himself into his work. He began applying for jobs left and right, networking with anyone and everyone who might be able to help him get his foot in the door. After months of rejection and disappointment, Jake finally landed a job as a junior analyst at a small investment firm. It wasn't exactly the job of his dreams, but it was a start. Jake worked hard and threw himself into his job. He was determined to prove himself and climb the ranks as quickly as possible. He spent long hours poring over financial reports, analyzing market trends, and making recommendations to his superiors. Despite the long hours and hard work, Jake loved his job. He found the work intellectually stimulating and enjoyed the sense of accomplishment he felt when he made a good recommendation that paid off. But Jake was ambitious. He wanted more than just a 9-to-5 job working for someone else. He wanted to start his own business and become his own boss. Jake spent every spare moment working on his business plan. He researched the market, identified a niche, and began reaching out to potential investors and partners. At first, it was slow going. Jake struggled to find anyone who was willing to take a chance on him. But he didn't give up. He kept plugging away, networking, pitching his ideas, and refining his business plan. Finally, after months of hard work, Jake landed his first investor. It wasn't a huge sum of money, but it was enough to get his business off the ground. Jake threw himself into his new venture with all the energy and enthusiasm he could muster. He worked tirelessly, pouring every spare moment and dollar he had into his business. At first, progress was slow. Jake faced countless setbacks and obstacles. He struggled to find customers, to market his product, and to turn a profit. But he refused to give up. Every time he hit a roadblock, he regrouped, adjusted his strategy, and kept moving forward. Slowly but surely, Jake's business began to take off. Customers started to take notice of his product, and word of mouth began to spread. Jake reinvested every penny he made back into the business, hiring more employees, expanding his product line, and opening new stores. As the years went by, Jake's business grew bigger and bigger. He opened new stores in new cities, hired more employees, and watched as his profits soared. Before long, Jake had become a millionaire. He had gone from a heartbroken young man with nothing but a dream to a successful entrepreneur with a thriving business and a bright future ahead of him. But Jake never forgot where he came from. He remained humble and grateful, never taking his success for granted and always striving to do better. And, deep down, he knew that his heartbreak had been the catalyst that had set him on the path to